First of all, thank you so much for having me here. I am truly delighted, and I must say that this is a bit of a full circle moment for me because I am dialing in from New York, and I am here in the US for the next couple of months to basically access life-saving treatment, treatment that will slow down the muscle weakness that is associated with my degenerative condition. Because at the age of 2, I was diagnosed with a condition called spinal muscular atrophy. And essentially, it is a motor neuron disease that affects the voluntary muscles and results in progressive weakness. So the older I get, the weaker I become. And doctors predicted that I would not live beyond the age of 5. Last year, I turned 30, so I have outlived myself by 25 years and counting. And now I am here getting access to Eversd. I am one of only a handful of people on the planet getting access to this treatment. And as I speak to you here from New York, I think about the arc of possibility that has really defined my life. Last year, I was able to lift my arm, something I have not done since the age of 18. And think about how the forces of possibility have really guided me. I was born in Namibia to a fearless single mother who fled apartheid and really gave me a life that really enabled me to go on to become a beacon of hope and possibility for people with disabilities everywhere. Right now, as we speak, Elma, 90% of children with disabilities across the developing world have never seen the inside of a classroom. 90%. And I could have become part of that statistic. And here I am speaking to you today as the first African with a degenerative disability to hold a master's degree in public policy from Oxford. And that is not just a personal achievement, that is a symbolic victory for all of the young people who look like me, who rarely have the opportunity to pursue the life of their dreams. So my story is a story of achieving the seemingly impossible. It is a story of breaking down barriers. It is a story of using my life and my platform to be able to amplify the voices of so many people who rarely see themselves reflected in the story of society and in the story of what we define as living an extraordinary life. So I feel so privileged and so honored to be speaking to you today because, as I said, it really feels like a full circle moment of possibility. I think that my entire life's purpose is really about reimagining realities, my own reality and the reality of the global society in which we live. Elma, let me put it this way. I believe that disability and embodied difference, however that manifests, whether that is along the lines of gender, of race, of sexuality, of geography, whatever the difference is that we embody and house within ourselves, that difference is an offering to humanity. I believe that disability is an offering to humanity. And I say that intentionally because I think often when we picture disability, we think about tragedy, we think about isolation, we think about deprivation. We don't associate people with disabilities as living full lives, lives that are meaningful and that are filled with depth. And I think that what my disability has taught me, and what I think disability can teach everybody, is that disability shows us that there are new ways of being. There are new ways of existing. There are new ways of moving through the world. And that is an offering. That is beautiful, right? And so the word disability and innovation needs to be put in the same sentence. The word disability and resilience needs to be put in the same sentence. The word disability and tenacity needs to be put in the same sentence. And in so doing, we reimagine our realities. I have been a global disability practitioner for over a decade. And often when we think about accessibility, the word access, we tend to define that in relation to compliance or ticking a box, right? And so people think that access means having a ramp, right, in a building, that
Yeah.
makes the space accessible. And what I constantly say time and time again, and I'll say it for as long as I continue breathing, is that what makes a space accessible is not a ramp, it is not compliance, it's not even sign language interpretation or all of the things that we think makes a space accessible. What makes a space accessible is the freedom, the connection, the sense of belonging that space engenders for all of us, regardless of identity, to come together and feel really validated. So I think we have a unique window of opportunity to reimagine society beyond compliance, beyond the basic building blocks, and recognize that we should all have access to self-actualization, to joy, to dignity, to agency, right? And that's not just about access to the bare minimum, the basic building blocks. I think that I speak on behalf of so many young people who are truly frustrated that we want more. We want to be everything. And I think that is what we actually should be striving toward, is that we don't settle for the bare minimum. Well, why? Because I believe that space represents the last frontier of inclusion. I think that if we can push the boundaries of inclusion and equality and possibility in space, then we have no excuse in terms of what is possible here on Earth. And I'm doing this really because, I think that this is my love letter to people with disabilities all over the world, and to everyone all over the world, really to the power of human resilience, right? To be able to do so, because I think without even realizing it, I think that particularly as young Africans, we defy gravity each and every single day by virtue of our existence. The ability to get up every day, every morning, and hold our heads up high, and continue to conquer each day. That is metaphorically that is defying gravity. And so I think that space travel is literally the next logical step for me, because I am here because I've had to really defy definition and defy boundaries and defy the odds. So it makes sense to defy gravity next. Well, if I'm perfectly honest, I'd say every day, right? I think there are moments every day when, life becomes really challenging, especially for people who insist on breaking down barriers, people who insist on really defying gravity and defying the odds, right? Like, one feels like giving up every day. The measures that I put in place, I think it's really the reminder that, I and all of us, we're all bigger and more expansive. We're all larger than the spaces we currently occupy. And it's so important that we affirm ourselves and that we affirm one another and remind one another of the larger why, right? That I am in service of a vision that is bigger and that is grander than myself, right? And that North Star keeps me on track. And so I think it's really important that we all find our North Stars, that we find the true essence that underpins our life's purpose.